prehistory set. This is the Great Hall of the Bulls, and if you notice right here's our little image. All of these prehistory pieces span the globe, but Great Hall of the Bulls is actually right over here in France, in Lascaux in France. The context for this piece is that Great Hall of the Bulls in Lascaux, France, was or is a rock painting from 1500 to 1300 BCE, so 17 to 15,000 years ago. It was discovered, though, in 1940. It had been lost for a long time by three boys who were out hiking. One of them had a little dog named Robot, and Robot fell into this entrance that had been hidden, and the boys went in to find Robot, and what they discovered were these incredible drawings on the cave wall. They then immediately went to experts, officials in town, who came in and recognized the discovery that had been made by these young boys. This is the entrance that had been hidden, that has been since dug out, and it took everybody into this whole cave. Right here's the entrance we're talking about. Took them into this entire cave system that has in it multiple images painted on the walls. Now, ours is the Great Hall of the Bulls, and you can see these men and the boys who are standing underneath the bulls that you see here. And so just in terms of size, the comparison, these are massive. And in terms of content, this is the chamber of the Great Hall of the Bulls. You can see the bulls are the most significant pieces in this set. There are many other animals, but they're the largest here. And the whole cavern that this is found in is 66 feet wide and 16 feet high. There are 2,000 figures in the whole cave, 600 in this hall. So what we see here in content is all of the animals that are that have been viewed at this time in history. So we have equine, so these horses. We have stags over here, cattle running through, bison, lots of cats, but not in this image, and deers, rhinoceros, and aurochs here. They're all featured in their natural state, running around, they're in motion here. And what we have discovered is that these different layers, it wasn't like one artist went in and said, hey, I'm going to create this real, incredible depth picture. Instead, artists have painted over the top of what previously existed. And so it's an amalgamation of artists over centuries and thousands of years. What's interesting is, although these over here, these stags, they look like reindeer, they're not reindeer, but reindeer were the animals that people in this era ate predominantly, and yet there are no reindeer featured in any of these 6,000 images. There is one human figure in this cave down. It's called the Shaft of the Dead Man. And you can see here, this animal here, maybe you can make it out, take a look at these prominent horns. And the rear of the animal is actually shaped, outlined by the rock itself, actually protrudes out and mimics this shape as well. And then, of course, it's been outlined. But this is a rhinoceros. Right over here is a bison. Its head is turned. Coming down at the bottom, this right here, these are the entrails of the bison. And see, here we see a male human figure with not very detailed shape. I mean, compare the human to the other animals here. The human is not at all detailed. And the head of the human is a bird. And then there is a bird here on a staff. This is completely interesting and not understood by anyone today. What was being shown here? Was this the result of a hunt? Is this a ritual? It is really quite unknown. Um, Other human features in any of these cave paintings or paintings on walls throughout the world uh, are primarily in the form of handprints. Now, these handprints are, you can see there's negative and positive images here. Um, but for the most part, these hands are placed on a wall, like this one here on the right, and then they take some sort of like bird, hollow feather or hollow bone, and then they blow the pigment on around the hand, and so that we're left with a negative image of the hand. Um, there's also been a study recently by a professor in Pennsylvania about the gender of these hands, that these are likely more female handprints. And then is this, are these about constellations in the sky that these handprints are creating? That's a wondering. These hands are found, this set is found in Argentina, and the one here on the right is found in Indonesia. So handprints permeate this culture, or these early human art cultures around the world. Okay, and so here we have the image here of an auroch, and the auroch here is featured prominently, the white, the outline, and then white painted auroch here. And they're extinct now, but their genome has been discovered, or laid out, I should say. And we know that the auroch was a great consumer of the grass without eating the roots of a grass. So it was a wonderful species to have with native grasses, because the native grasses still survived after they had been eaten by these aurochs. And so the Romans talked about aurochs in their writings, so we know they were around then, but they have since become extinct. And part of the question is, do we bring them back using the genome material that we have, that we know about? The function of the Great Hall of the Bulls is really unknown. For a long time, people initially thought, well, these are all about um, having a great hunt, but there isn't enough other material um, evidence of that in these caves. There have been like 350 tools that have been identified at the bottom of these drawings, on the ground in the caves, but none of the material culture indicates that this was kind of all about the hunt. There are perhaps some rituals, some spiritual rituals going on here. Um, but not 100% known. The other thing that we see throughout this cave and other caves around the world are these. Do you see these lines here at the front of the auroch? There's lines, and then there are dots in other places, and we don't know if that's some sort of communication. We don't know what that actually is. Is it? One other thought is that there might have been the artists are on a kind of having hallucinations. They're on a vision quest, and these dots and lines might have some relevance there. Okay, some kind of modern day context to know is that humans, you can see here this image here on the left, which would have been from about the 1950s, 1960s, that a lot of people, humans, visited these caves, and as they expelled their air, they were releasing carbon dioxide into the air, and these caves, we don't think were inhabited by, lots of people. It was just the artist going down into the cave. So all of these visitors expelling the carbon dioxide, it created mold on the walls and on the paintings. When scientists discovered this and tried to stop it, they created they altered the environment even further by putting in air conditioners and air conditioning. You can see, look at all the white mold that grew on this painting in the Lascaux cave. So humans have been harmful to this, even because of their incredible interest in that. Then I want to go back here and say that Now, if you want to go to Lascaux and see the Great Hall of the Bulls or any aspect of the caves, they have recreated it. And it's like they're on their fourth rendition of it in the museum. It recreated it exactly. And now today, only the rarest of visitors, like scientists looking at the mold, get to go down into the Lascaux caves. Okay, so this is Great Hall of the Bulls in Lascaux, France, made probably in 15,000 to 13,000 BCE, and it is a rock painting.